So let's do one more run with the Automaton. We still have a lot of unlocks left to do with them. So, yeah. Let's jump in. We are also a bit behind on Ascension level. Let's take a quick look. Ooh, new card art. Love it. Oh, the defense is amazing. Nice card art. Really like it. You guys are doing a great job with this mod. I have to say it. So much fun. Let's see. We're up against Void Defect. If we can go for this double elite, that will be a lot of value. Can have a rest side beforehand, so we could gain a strength. Strength is pretty good on the Automaton. And by pretty good, I mean extremely powerful. Like Watcher levels of powerful. So if we want to go here, we have to take 4 normal fights early on. I'm gonna go with the random rare relic. That could give us a lot of power. Dueling Glove. We just seen that before. After using a single target attack, if the target has no vulnerable, apply one vulnerable to them. That's quite good. Really like it. Let's get the strength. We still look like the champ at the rest side. And that's fine. It's still in beta after all. Let's see. We definitely want to replicate against the backliner so we can potentially finish them off next turn. And then I'm just gonna spam defense so we don't take any damage this turn. We already took enough damage from the Niao deal. Ugh. Well, it's just one. One is fine. Wild Beam. Deal 10 damage. Encode. Compile, insert a wound. Does Constructor. Constructor is nice. Very nice defensive card for this character. Fine Tuning is also available. I like Constructor a lot. Wild Beam makes for a very strong function, but the wound in the deck is a problem. I'm gonna go with Constructor for now. Do I go triple defend here? I think I do. Don't want to take 2 damage from this. Misordered that. I'm just gonna go for the damage here. Nah, might as well put it up there. It's gonna give us some damage as well here. It's actually pretty good. Copying Sadness. Liquid Bronze, yes. Oh, I love it. If you put Constructor in, but not at the first space, its name changes to Sadness. Because it's sad to be there. Cultist Strike. Very early Cultist Strike. Let's see how this goes. Compile, increase this card's damage by 1 permanently. The upgrade doesn't increase its scaling, so we don't need to upgrade it immediately or anything like that, so we're just fine using it here. It does mean we have to finish this function, the Cultist Sprint. If I use Constructor in this function, I don't have to block again. The function didn't trigger Dueling Glove. Even though it was an attack with a single target, right? Yeah. That is weird. 8 damage, draw a card, gain 5 block. We can easily full defend with that. I should... No, I'm not gonna play a strike. Yeah, it doesn't trigger Duelist Glove. It already had vulnerable when I played the function, really? Pretty sure it didn't. Overheat, delayed slice, philosophize. If our main scaling is Cultist Strike, philosophize becomes less interesting to us. And the enemies gaining strength from it can be a major downside. Overheat, I really don't like right now. Although it is good damage, the downsides are relevant. I think I want to skip. These don't really fit in. Yeah, these don't really fit into what I've planned here. Ouch! I can't kill any of them. I can only defend for 15, so I'm gonna take 7 at the very least, and that's if I don't play the Cultist Strike. Ouch. I hope they're not all attacking again. Can I finish one of them? This one is possible. Another 3. Oh, we're in a better position now. The copying sadness. Again, no vulnerable from the function. It's a bit of an issue for us right now. We are weakened, huh? That was a lot of damage to take here. We also need to compile. Otherwise, we're not gonna get the benefit from the Cultist Strike upgrading. Which means I have to play a Replicate. I hope it still compiles, even if I kill. It does. Did it upgrade? I can't see because it's modified by weakness right now. Invalidate, Sticky Shield, Invoke. Invoke seems good. That helps us get the energy to play Cultist Strike stuff. Let's see if it did upgrade. It still says 6 damage. That's worrying. Let's break the ruby. It did upgrade, yes. Constructor is a good upgrade. Invoke isn't terrible. But I think Replicate needs to be upgraded. I want the extra damage. Because we're gonna have it in multiple functions, it might be important. Fossilized Helix. Prevent the first time you would lose HP each combat. That's really good against all the Act 1 elites. Go to... Constructor Replicate. I wish we had drawn that earlier. Can I prevent buffer usage? No. Guess I lose my buffer here. Let's apply vulnerability. and then win. Dead Branch, whenever you exhaust a card, add a random card into your hand. Front load. Like the idea of that. Assembly is also quite interesting in a deck like this. And it's much harder to find than front load, which is a common. Large Slime. Let's go with Cultist Strike. Into Strike. We don't need to Assembly right now. We already have the Cultist Strike. Core. Let's put an Invoke up there so we gain energy from compiling here. That's a good split. Constructor. We have... I'm gonna play the go-to. Am I gonna complete this function? No. Not right now. We do have the buffer preventing us from taking the damage this turn. That's how much damage? 14? That will do. Repulsor. When you draw the first status or curse card each turn, exhaust it and draw a card. That makes the... That makes the downsides of some of these much less crippling. I'm gonna take it just to broaden my options. This is just a grape function. And I am fine opening the fight this way. Cultist energy. We have a lot of cultist energy right now. I want defense next turn. Separator. If this is not the first or last card in the sequence, function gains play this again. That seems good. Copying Child, 1 cost, deal 7 damage, gain 5 block twice. That's good. We can keep the buffer this turn. So we don't have to worry about it this turn. Should have played these in the other order. I forgot that the function doesn't apply vulnerable, but our strike does. So we're gonna strike first before using the function. And we should have the kill now. Yeah. Even though we lost the strength. Mango up on pickup, raise your max HP by 14. It's actually quite good. Play a copy of each card in the sequence they do not encode. That can be quite good with the Cultist Strike for sure. Wild Beam seems quite good now. With Repulsor being in the deck. The insert a wound is not that much of a downside often. And 10 damage for a 1 cost is very good for a 1 cost with encode especially. This is annoying. Wait, we have buffer. Ah, fine. Missed some damage there. Yes, give me Cultist. Give me Wild Beam. Then Constructor, Invoke, Replicate. There we go. Turbo, insert a Void. We still lose the energy when we draw it. Even with repulsor up. That still might be worth it. We are using... Maybe I should have gone with the slime block. We are using... Ooh, 100 souls from the shiny idol. We are using expensive functions sometimes with the cultist strike, so... Question, upgrade or merchant? I'm gonna go for the upgrade and break the emerald for the decks. Upgrade could be assembly. Assembly does exhaust now. Didn't even notice that until just now. Repulsor being innate is very important, especially against this upcoming enemy. Repulsor works on curses as well. So I'm okay with this deal. I like the new repulsor a lot. 2 cost is totally fair. We could go to invoke replicate, gain the energy back we spent on go to. With 7 plus 10 damage, can we kill any of them? 18, 18, 18. Nope. But we have the function as well, so we can kill one of them. And we kept our buffer. So things are looking very nice. Cultist strike shell. Just to compile that function so we get the update on... Oh, we have that branch as well. We are so powerful. Terminator fine-tuning deprecate. I'm gonna take a fine-tuning now. That has interesting applications. I don't think we need a fear potion. We can very often apply vulnerable with our dueling glove. I'm gonna compile the cultist strike immediately. I'll put it up there. Then I'm gonna turbo out the repulsor. Putting a void into my draw. Enemy is just playing buffer this turn. Whenever defect generates a void, it goes on top of your draw pile. So they didn't... They will have an ethereal... they will have a void this turn for us. Bronze armor. Enemy gains 2 artifact. Oh, Wild Beam. Actually Wild Beam, right? Or Go To? No, I think it's Wild Beam. It's just great damage right now. And let's go to... Yeah, I'm fine with the enemy having some artifacting. We're gonna remove that artifact very quickly without the Willing Glove. Because as long as they have artifact, they won't be vulnerable. So every attack we do will trigger it. Draw 2 cards, gain 2 artifacts, sure. We can just buffer this Thunder. Let's finish the function. I kind of want to ship it. Let's turbo first. Then I'm gonna put the constructor up there. Sure. We have a real chance of drawing 2 voids this turn though. not just that, we also drew a third one. So we are effectively incapacitated for that turn. That sucks. Oh, that sucked. Get latest. I want this one to be cheap, so no fortify in there. Let's iterate and piercing shot. And use that for our defense as well. I'm gonna keep turboing out a fortify actually. Let's gain some more artifact. There is still a void in the deck. But I do want some defense this turn. That kind of sucked. For loop, the next card you encode causes X additional copies to also be encoded. I could exchange the Slimed for a Void, but I really don't want to. I'm gonna keep it in the deck. "11 block, 3 damage 3 times and 7 damage to all enemies." That's reasonable. Then recursive strike, make another function. That's also decent damage. We have a wound in the deck. Guess I can turbo this out right now. That's very good damage. And I hope we can win now. This is not enough. We can defend for 16, so we would take 8. That's okay, that's still... We're still alive. Six damage. We are still alive. That was the wrong card to play. Should have played the for loop there. I hope we can finish the fight this turn. Draw 2, gain an artifact, deal 7. That's not quite enough. We have Sticky Shield for defense. Sticky Shield overheat. No. Actually, yes. And we should be able to win this turn. That was close. We ended on 1 HP. Mutator. Probably not. Hyper Beam. Thunder Wave. Hyper Beam might be okay. I'm gonna take it. Makeshift Battery. Gain energy and add a random status card into your discard pile at the start of your turn. Every turn. Platinum Core. The first 3 functions you compile each combat cost 1 less the turn they are compiled. So it's basically the bronze core times 3. That's okay. But I'm gonna go with the cursed key. If I'm ever comfortable with curses, then it's probably with the Repulsor Plus in my deck. I wanna go for a merchant, I think. have a lot of gold. Other options. Tons of rest sites. 3 elites. 2 elites and a merchant. I think I'm gonna go for the very early merchant. And I'll see from there. Fine-tuning retaining is actually pretty decent. Hyper beam takes 1 less turn to get ready. That's also not bad. Constructor might be the upgrade I want to do though. That's a lot of extra block. Definitely want a repulsor online. Do I want to encode the go-to right now? Probably not necessarily. Good thing we have this buffer. It's cultist strike. Should have done this the other way around. Wild beam. And then build core. It's a very strong function. And it's time to end this. Bronze Orb. Innate, deal 6 damage, gain 6 block, encode a random card with encode in your draw pile. That could be quite good. It could be decent. Especially if we hit the cultist strike with it. Although the cultist strike starts to become a very good card to play also. Force shield could also be good. Helps us with our defense. Later in the fight only. But it will eventually become 0 cost, I assume. Very likely to. Yeah, I'm gonna take a force shield. Find some potions. Kio's Clever Concoction. Until the sequence is full, choose one of 3 random cards to encode. That seems good. Colorless Potion is also probably better. I'm not gonna take the Vexing Growth, I think. Let's see what this does. Go to Recursive Strike, Invalidate. It's 8 damage, but it's gonna be a 2 cost. I'm gonna go with Go to. Flail. Sure. And then Cultist Strike, not to get a Wild Beam in there. Could be better. Alright, we didn't. I forgot the vulnerable again. Does that help? Makes force shield cost 1 less, but that doesn't make it playable. This is going slow. But we can always finish with a Hyper Beam for decent damage. Replicate, invoke. Then assembly. Oops, we drew the Cultist Strike. Should probably go with the Wild Sprint here. Spaghetti code. Until the sequence is full, choose one of 3 random cards to encode. But I do want to play the Hyper Beam here. Child class rework? Yes. That's the one that played the card twice, right? It works now a bit differently, yeah. Constructor, bit shift, bug barrage. Don't think we want bug barrage. Bit shift could be good. Not necessarily. Well, maybe. Yeah, the play this card twice still exists, but it's now separator, the one you have to put into the middle of your sequence for it to have effect. Silver bullet. Start each combat with a piercing shot in the sequence. Huh. Interesting. I'm not sure if that's worth it. I'm gonna go for Vashra. Strength is not that good in this deck, but still quite good, because we still have a fair few multi-hits. Not in the deck, but after we made functions, I guess. Let's get the curse out of the deck. We do have the and I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Who's our boss? Watcher. So our final boss could be Ironclad. We don't need Hand Drill. We have Dueling Glove. That's not always gonna work, but it's good enough. I think we Wild Beam, Invoke, Fine Tune, and then defend. Fine Tune is a bit wasted on these cards. We are gonna take some damage here, huh? Let's use a colorless potion. That didn't help with the damage right now. Gonna go with Charge Up. Okay. That should make us not take damage. Yes, we skip a turn, but this enemy is gonna heal. So... there we go. Keep that Cultist Strike upgrading. I'm gonna take a Sticky Shield. That's a lot of block. Do I want another merchant right now? Yeah, I do. I want this fine tuning to retain, so we can fine tune our Cultist Strike. Flawed. At the end of your turn, transform all cards in your hand into random status effects, status cards. Honklit, I like it. Just need to make sure to break the Sapphire Key this time around. Let's see if we can get the kill here. Flawed in the opening hand. That's a bit annoying. Let's see what we can assemble here. Cultist Strike. Don't think I want Force Field. I don't think I want any of these, honestly. Recursive strike. Then play out the floor. Cultist recur. Recur grows now faster, it seems. This will give us a lot of energy to use this turn. We don't need all that energy right now, so I'm gonna get less energy later. Instead. That was good damage. We still have that Hyper Beam in the deck, but we might not be able to play it. There's Turbo in our next hand. We will be able to play it. What if we draw into Turbo now? We could play... No, we can't play it. That means I shouldn't play Go-To this turn, right? Slow roll this. Fine-tuning just gives us extra block, but it's not like we can do anything with it anyway. I should have played the Searing Beam. I would have gained the energy back. We were so close. Searing Beam would have made a difference of 6 damage. We wouldn't have had the kill even with it. Too bad. Separator. That's powerful. If this is not the first or last card in the sequence, Function gains play this again. Yes. Clockwork Souvenir. That's tempting. Sure. Front load? Front load is also not bad, but I don't think I really need it. Repair? Yeah, I think I'm fine. Ancient Factory. As you continue your tireless descent, you have come across the original factory. You remember being here for your own assembly when you met the maker for the first time. Each one of the ancient constructs they created is as perfect as yourself. There are parts from the old prototypes that could be of use to you, but it will require activating them. We can fight a Dono prototype for a Dono beam, delay damage twice, encode, compile, gain 2 strength and lose 1 dex. Fight the Deca prototype for Deca shield, which is called Deca beam here. Gain 16 block, encode, compile, gain 4 plated armor and insert 2 dazed. Or fight both to gain both cards. I'm gonna fight them both. Okay, these are Dono and Deca, but with low health and -3 starting strength. Interesting. Oh, I was really hoping to find... we could keep the Flood in if we play Repulsor this turn. Probably should. I was really hoping to find the Cultist Strike right there. Huh? Didn't we have a buffer? Fine-tuning, I'm gonna wait on that. Gonna go with Replicate. Into Digital Carnage. I want to draw. Let's fine tune these. Clean code. Remove all negative compile effects from cards in the sequence. That would only be function gains ethereal, and I don't really mind that. Let's finish Dono off and block with the sticky shield. A couple of statuses in the deck now. This hand is pretty bad. I'm gonna go with the spaghetti code to fill out this function. Guess it's Fortify. Function is expensive already. Let's max the output. Terminator wants to be last, which we can't do right now. So I'm just gonna play it anyways. Force shield, defend to block, and I'm gonna play out the slimed. Deprecate? Sure. I don't mind the weakness. Well, we blocked it anyways. $70 block, 8 damage, play this again. That's a powerful function. Although the block wasn't that necessary right now, it's still good. Let's weaken the enemy. And we should have the kill here with the hyper beam after we make them vulnerable. There we go. Add the Dono beam to our deck. And Deca shield. Do we want another fine tuning? Or Cthulhu? Cthulhu might be nice with the scry. I'm gonna pick that up. There's our Dono beam. That's pretty good. Blast. Gonna assemble. Invoke Deca shield. I'm also gonna discard these. Fine tuning is really good with multi-hits. Yep, it is. Deal 12 damage twice, gain 17 block, gain 4 block. Not a bad card. Let's go to and safeguard. Sure, let's put the Terminator up there as well. Huh. What's left? I actually don't want to play this separate right at the moment. I do wanna use the fine tuning on the cultist strike so it grows twice for this fight. Front load oil spill, ship it. I feel like we have everything we need at this point. Front lobe basically has been replaced with a Deca shield. We also have the sticky shield and the force shield. A lot of shields. That's a bit unfortunate. That would have done the job. Let's go to draw some cards. Draw some more cards. It's way more energy than necessary. Just Dono and Deca. Lose our buffer here. But that's fine. Fine-tune the cultist strike and then hopefully finish the function. No. That sucks. Ouch. We can finish the function now, but that's not as useful anymore. That was rough. That's a lot of damage and also some block. Same here, although more block than damage, for sure. That does absolutely nothing there. Whoops. That wasn't very well played. Choose a bracelet. Normal enemy combats are no longer encountered in question mark rooms. For loop with retain. No, don't think so. Oh, this one again. We can at least use our potions pretty liberally here. Well, we're gonna lose our buffer. That's fine. What do I want here? Assembly. Wait, I didn't use it on the... Oops. Should have used it on the cultist strike. Let's fine-tune this. I don't want to play Deca's shield this turn. I want to end the fight now. That should help. Oh no, the enemy is ethereal. then that was exactly the wrong time for this. Well, I still gain 4 block from it, which is the amount I was missing. There's also a fairy potion on the enemy now. We triggered it. So we can end this with the hyper beam now. Not this turn though. Vulnerability and then smooth core. Nice. Potion belt, 2 more potion slots. Block potion. I'm not so certain if Kio's clever concoction is that good. Well, it is certainly not bad, but probably better than a blessing of the forge right now. Gain 3 strength. Gain 6 bladed armor. Hell yeah, these are very significant upgrades. I'm gonna go for another elite fight instead of the merchant. We can still do the merchant next floor. I need some help here. Dig a little carnage. Dark dash. Rough prototype. Deal 15 damage. Insert random status. Encode. Compile, insert beta build. Beta build. Gain 15 block. Insert random status. Encode. Compile, insert full release. Huh. Okay. Now that's a card. Definitely want Repulsor out now. I don't think I can deal with Flawed this turn. No, I can. I'm gonna lose my buffer, but maybe I shouldn't have then. Let's assemble Deka Shield. It's a decent fine-tuning. Gain 7 plated armor and insert 2 dazed. Yeah, that's okay. That was 6 dazed. 6 dazed? Hey, the Mr. Gaster, welcome. 6 dazed is more than 2 dazed. I'm gonna keep this function ready for next turn. Here's our beta build. We definitely want a 16 block, that's for sure. Seven damage. That's a lot of block, but gonna go with Dono Beam instead. Yep, we are playing the Bronze Automaton from the Downfall beta. That's 1 damage short. But we also have the Flail. Good enough. Just gonna exhaust this. Another rough prototype. Do we have the full release now? Encode, compile. Function becomes a power which activates its effect at the start of each turn. Oh, that's interesting. Let's go full release, separator, flail. At the start of your turn, deal 6 damage to all enemies 2 times. Play this again. Now if only we had the energy to actually play it. Guess we have to wait another cycle. It is very cool though. I kinda wanna play it. It's probably not the smartest idea, but... Deal 6 damage to all enemies 2 times. 2 times. But I should really end the fight here. Deal 12 damage twice, 10 damage to all enemies 2 times, and deal 31 damage. Now that's a card. That's a good damage card. Lantern, start each combat with an additional energy. Very much appreciated. Anything else I want here? Not really, no. Snacko. Let's cut through. Don't need these. I like that we have an artifact here that makes things a bit more manageable. Seven damage, scry 2. Okay, what do we want? Let's go with assembly first. We get the energy back thanks to the 3-block one we put in there. And win. I didn't play my cultist strike this turn though. This fight. That's fine. It's already pretty big. Big enough. Constructor. Separator and then assembly. The Dono beam? Sure. The rest is fine. And set up the repulsor. Incoming is 13. We already defend against that much. Actually, I kind of want to draw the flood because I do have the repulsor up, so it's gonna exhaust. $36 more damage and they will get the fall from grace. Should make sure we manage to get there. These are both very good. I'm gonna leave them there. Let's encode 3 fragments. For just a solid function, to be honest. This turn is Cultist Strike, Deca Shield, fine-tuning. Get the Cultist Strike growing faster and gain more plated armor from the Deca Shield. And they are now going into Blasphemy. But they did get the -4 strength applied. Invoke is actually a ton of energy here. Hyper Beam is not enough to end it and we don't have artifacts, so we should wait on that. Oh! It now is. Because I forgot the vulnerability again. Snack Oil, draw 5 cards, randomize the cost of cards in your hand. Summon Orb. Whenever you compile game 4 block and deal 4 damage to a random enemy. Upgrades to 6 and 6? I don't know. It's a 2-cost power we have to set up. I don't think we want any of them. Coffee Dripper, Sozu, Sacred Bark. Sacred Bark seems very good at the moment. I'm also pretty comfortable with Coffee Dripper, and we have a very energy hungry deck. We need to break the key. So a rest site after a... Well, we have rest sites on all the paths, so that's good. I think I want to go to the right, hunt some elites, go to an early merchant, spend my huge amount of money. Assembly needs to scry 8. We have the buffer, otherwise this will be pretty painful. Wild Beam into Cultist Strike. Oops, that killed. Whoops, didn't expect that to kill. I'm fine, thanks. Wild Beam Separator. I'm gonna play the Force Field. I'm also gonna play Turbo Repulsor. That's probably worth. Against the enemy Repulsor. Wild Child. That's truly a wild child we have there. That crashed the game. Uh-oh. Wait a moment until I load this back up. We should be able to continue where we left, and if we play this a bit differently, we shouldn't crash. Niao's ultimate weapon, the reality deconstructor. Crashing the game. Yeah, but it's fun. I like the Automaton. The Dono Deca Beam, the Dono Beam Deca Shield stuff is quite nice. Cultist Strike is really strong. Because unlike something like a Ritual Dagger, which scales faster, this one is reusable in the function it creates. So that's pretty neat. Let's try this again. 14 damage, then 12 damage twice. So this will kill the Spire if we play it. In the first instance. That might have been a problem. That the target for the second cast was gone. That's not usually a problem for playing cards twice, but it just might be the problem here. There is still a chance we might fight Cultist Strike. In fact, we do. So we can actually compile this. Iterate, that's really good damage. That's too good to not pick it up. Let's finish off the merchant. Let's try to find Cultist Strike. Didn't find it. There's not much we can do to find it. Actually, nothing really. Boost, deprecate, invoke. I'm okay, I think. Let's skip. Class default. Add a copy of the first card in the current sequence to the next two sequences automatically. That's interesting, but I don't think it's for this deck. Warpaint. We still have quite a few unupgraded cards. And we have a lot of gold. I'm gonna take it. Force Shield and Turbo got upgraded. That's actually pretty solid. Do we want to remove the Flood? Honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm gonna remove some strikes. Medical Kit. That could actually be pretty good in this character. Yeah, we sometimes end up with status cards in our hand despite the repulsor. And that's it. Although honestly the Good Instincts is kind of tempting. Just because we end up with a lot of high cost cards and sometimes just a 0 cost block would be nice. Well, we can just buff for the first hit. Ooh. Cultist Strike, fine tuning, giving the Iterate an extra hit. That's already an expensive function. But the Searing Beam is barely better than a Replicate. That's a lot of damage in that one function. Front load. I wanted one early. Feel like I found enough block. The retain is tempting, but I don't think I really need it. Giant Head. Let's see. Invoke Separator is not really a great function. Snack Oil is really dangerous. 3 cost functions can be a problem. Oh! Oh! Sorry! Sorry guys! I forgot. There we go. Thanks for noticing, Max. This is a bit awkward. Think we just set it up and keep the separator around. Hammer Beam could actually be quite good. The Deca Shields got put back into my hand for some reason. Huh. That was weird. It was still in there, but it also got put into my hand. I only need to get rid of one of these. Have the repulsor, although there are many in my deck. I should have gotten rid of both of them. Maybe too many of these. Well, with the repulsor, it's manageable, I guess. I can actually play these. Do I? Yeah, I do want to keep this function. Start a null pointer function. With the cultist strike. Fine. Just want to upgrade it here. What did the enemy just lose? Well, an artifact, but why? This shouldn't have debuffed them. Oh, slow! It prevents slow stacks. That makes sense. That digital carnage is too much damage to waste. Not a bad function we're building there. Let's add some more damage to it. We don't have the buffer anymore. I'm gonna end the fight here. Out of War. If you do not play any attacks during your turn, gain an additional energy next turn. Have fun, silly. With your 18th century button manufacturing text. We got a regret. It's fine, we need the sapphire key now. Which we are gonna break as soon as we can. Nemesis? That's not a great hand. I'm gonna snack this. We use the artifact on the hyper beam. Should have used the strike first. I forgot about our dueling glove we have since floor 1. I'd rather have a status card instead of a regret or a 3-cost defense, but I do want the repulsor out. I'm gonna block with this shield. Also gonna beam. Can't really do anything with the turbo. Let's invoke Iterate. Smooth energy. Well, we gained some block at least. Let's go to first. And let's find a cultist strike. Let's also get... I can't use the cut through. Because I do want a separator. Then wild beam. And then just deal 81 damage twice. Happy Flower. Every 3 turns gain an energy and a regen potion. Happy to have it. I'm good. Don't need these. Let's break the Sapphire. So we are ready to go to Niao and then upgrade Dono Beam for the extra strength. Event, Relic or Merchant. We're not on the path to another Merchant. I'm gonna go for a Relic. With the Curse Key. That wasn't the smartest idea. We got a Parasite and a Shuffle, which we can now use to dig for relics at rest sites, which I guess we'll do here. And we found the Boot. Whenever you would deal 4 or less unblocked attack damage, increase it to 5. That wasn't worth it at all. We picked up a curse and wasted a rest site for the Boot. And this is an awful hand. And our potions are not a huge help. At least these cards retain. Ouch. Do I? No, I don't want that. Let's iterate into assembly. There's a Deca shield. And an invoke, I guess. I'm also gonna set up the replicate for the next one. Well, that didn't turn out how I wanted it to. Hyper Beam is actually good. Hyper Beam can end this fight. Nope. None of these. Repulsor Sticky Shield. Double defend. We're gonna lose our buffer anyways. We have the Hyper Beam now. So things are looking good at that front. I want to play the Cultist Strike, but I also want to play the Force Field. Oh, we can! It's not a problem, we already have something in there. And then we end it with the Hyper Beam. Nice. Going well. How much damage is the Cultist Strike by now? 40 damage? Now that's pretty good. Let's assemble Dono Beam, Iterate, Cut Through. I would also take an Invoke instead of one of these. That wasn't the one I was hoping for. Again, we have a Dono Beam in there, but we have another Dono Beam in hand. The Dono Beam in there disappeared. Deal 10 damage 4 times. The Smooth Blast is still stronger. So let's use that on the dagger and then Smooth Blast this one. Let's also set up Repulsor because now we have a lot of status cards in the deck right now. That's a bit scary. Not a huge problem though. I think we just kill here. Pantograph. At the start of boss combats heal 25 HP. That's very good timing. It's too late for another cultist strike. I'm gonna skip these. Let's iterate, flail, and then constructor. I'm actually gonna keep them on top. These are quite good. Let's try to assemble a cultist strike with the Deca shield. That's Dono Beam, Separator, Fine Tune, and then Go To. Then I'm gonna double up on that. And by that I mean I'm just gonna play it. So many separators. Also, this hunt is awful. I'm gonna get this function. Just so I have something to do right now. Yeah, we managed to finish them before they could attack. Skip. Don't want a spiked energy drink. Muddling can be a problem here. Set up the construction and iterate. I kinda want extra decks in this fight. Don't want to spend too many potions here, but I am fine with spending one or two. Backtrace. Is this a function we want to exhaust? No. Fine-tuning Hyper Beam. I'm gonna take the fine-tuning right now. Hyper Beam is more something for floor fights. Backtrace separator, I guess. Lost our buffer to regret. That's not very nice. It's time to deal some damage with the sneaky child. That's actually an okay state to be in. We can finish the fortification pretty easy here, and the enemy is just preparing for a body slam. So this is the best time to get rid of that. You're now gaining 5 strength a turn. But that's much easier to handle than the... It's much easier to handle than the block. We are also very close to a kill. Let's see what we can get. Backtrace? Separator backtrace. There we go. Bye, Robo Wizard. Thanks for joining in. Let's move onwards to the final act. And beat up Niao, the god of life. But first, we must get past this merchant. Let's see. Let's see what floor gives us. A delayed slice. I mean, that's fine. Set up a repulsor. We also want to block the 8 damage coming in. But we can't. So I guess we lose our buffer. At least no damage is coming in this turn. Let's do an assembly. Actually, let's get the Dekka's shield. 6 damage, 4 times, 17 block, and then 69 damage. I could use a class default on a wild beam. Okay. Why not? Separator go to. It's not bad. Wild child. Bomb is exploding right now. If we want to block this, have to put in some effort. Ah, the invoke would be nice actually. Would have been nice. Still some block, but I'm gonna pull back this past barrier for giant amounts of damage and still a good chunk of block. That's a weak cultist strike. That's not our real cultist strike. Hand of Greed is coming in this turn. These things don't really help. These things don't help at all. Gain 4 block, take 4 damage. That's not really that great either. This was a garbage turn for us. Now we're gonna take 27. That's still better used in the final fight. Incoming is 56 damage. Now we can change those wounds into actually meaningful cards, like an iterate. We can fine tune. And we finish with the Hyper Beam. Calipos. At the start of your turn, lose 15 block rather than all block. That's really good. I'm gonna take another Invoke. Plus. Bottle Flame is tempting. Get that Cultist Strike in the first function we compile. It's nice. This Regret sucks. Takes our buffer away. On the Power Potion and an Entropic Brew. Entropic Brew with 5 potion slots is amazing. I would like to rest here, but I'm not allowed to. Luckily we have Pantograph, so it's not all bad. Anything we really need to upgrade? Actually, yes, the go-to. That's probably more important than a relic. We don't have to throw all potions here, because this is actually 2 fights now. I'm gonna throw out the regen potion for sure though. That was a giant hit I just threw against the buffer. The enemy has 0 energy this turn. Which is a shame. I don't know why they had 0 energy, but they did. If we want to complete this function, the only way to do so would be a Searing Beam right now. We could also try to find something. Yeah, that's a bit better. Is it better? It's gonna be 2 cost anyway. Might as well use a Searing Beam, because I do get the energy back from the Invoke. Yeah, let's get out. Let's get these curses out of my draw. Iterate seems quite good with this. I'm gonna keep those here. These are fine. Set up the constructor. Yes, yes, I know, I know. These are also fine. Oh, this fine-tuning doesn't have retain. I forgot. It wasn't an upgraded one. I don't think I want to fine-tune the Deca shield. The Niao fight. The old Niao fight used to be you fight Niao first. Then after you kill him, he retreats, summons one of the champions. Once you defeat a champion, he comes back. That repeats until you have fought all 3 egg bosses. And then finally you face Niao one last time. But now the champions come first. And then you fight Niao in a separate battle. But Niao also gains abilities from the bosses you fought, which I think is pretty cool. You can have all my artifacts, I don't care. I want some tool though. I do care about my artifact. Oh, that was a debuff turn Niao tried to do, but we had enough artifact to prevent all the debuffs. Which is pretty nice. Sentient form. After you play or compile a function, increase all its numbers. All numbers on it by 1. Let's play that out. That seems quite good. Invalidate. Not really what I was looking for. But I guess it's better than nothing. I did just make myself vulnerable, but that's not a problem because the enemy is not attacking this turn. I'm gonna keep the parasite here just to slowly remove these curses from our deck. Ah, we got debuffed. That's fine though. Oops, missed my chance to follow up. That's okay. I don't need to follow up this turn anyways. Here comes the blasphemy turn. The enemy will be intangible, so they won't die. I'm gonna keep the bewildered here, just to get rid of it. This flying sleeves is gonna hit hard. Good thing we have buffer still. Oh, we got made vulnerable on top of that. And then we got back into upgrade the next 3 cards that you can encode that can be upgraded, sure. We generate some. Well, that's useful. Like the shell. This Consecrate is not gonna do any damage? Why? It didn't do any damage. Interesting. We do have an artifact. We should fire the Hyper Beam. Finally got that enemy down. The Invoke does nothing, almost nothing here. Ironclad. Burnout hits 0 times. That's not gonna be very good then. Let's build up some block for our Blur and Calipos. It's time to focus on the Ironclad this turn. That's not too bad, this body slam. The debuff turns from Niao applying vulnerable is weird because he does it before the champion acts, so it messes up the fights, the combat previews, which I really don't like. Sure, double deprecate, why not? I should actually focus on this guy, because that removes all block. Forgot about that. Gain 3 artifact and use one of them to block the hyper beam. Okay, I think we got through this fight pretty well. Sure. That wasn't a high damage turn, but it's fine. We do have some pretty high damage turns coming up, right? We gain a lot of temporary dex and strength here. And this will end the fight against the champions, and the fight against Niao begins now. Wait, what? Wait, what? Why is he summoning again? What? Am I in a loop? Oh no! Niao is looping me. I have to fight his champions for all eternity. And also the soundtrack is playing twice now. I'm gonna defeat them one more time, and if he summons them again, I'll probably end the run. Watch out. Yeah. Ugh. This is weird. Shouldn't these effects be removed? Clean code. Remove all negative compile effects from cards in the sequence. Last 3 compiles. Maybe they will get removed once I'm done compiling. Nope, I did get a frail. Okay. Ironclad. We know the cycle must end, so stop it now. Yeah. Please. No more. Whew. Almost done with the fortification. Do I have artifact? I don't. I don't want to skip my turn. We do have blur though, so we could skip our turn. That was a bad idea. It would have been good if I killed the artifact, the fortification there. Now I take a big hit. Ugh. Soon. There we have it. Is this the real Niao fight now? Nope, it's an endless loop. Well, You win. You win, Niao. I'm fine. That's a weird way to lose a Niao fight. But I guess it's good we found this bug. Refactor. Scry 5. Gain 5 block for each status card discarded. Exhaust any others discarded. You don't exhaust the statuses, huh? Only the other cards. Okay. Fine. Infinite beams. At the start of each turn, add a minor beam to your hand. Deals 3 damage, has encode. 0 cost. Okay. And there's the famous infinite loop. Deal 6 damage, encode. Compile, add a copy of this into your hand and increase its damage by 2. 0, the... yeah, Michael. Niao just kept restarting the fight and resummoning the champions over and over again. I killed all of them twice. And he just restarted the fight and summoned them again. And then I abandoned the run. I gave up. The newest weapon of Niao, Groundhog Day. Keep reliving the same fight over and over again. I had that all working, I swear. Yeah, I played the new Niao fight. I beat Niao yesterday. So it used to work. I'm glad you caught that. And I hope this is gonna be fixed. Because that's a rough bug to encounter. But it was funny. Anyways, yeah. That was a fun run. I really shouldn't have taken the dead branch. That really screwed me up, screwed my deck up. Like, we had so much weird trash in the deck from all the exhausted statuses. But it worked out. We did manage to beat the Niao wave 2 times. That counts as an Act 4 win, kind of, right?